Alright, finally, another Saturn video. These are taking a while, but Saturn demands patience and all that. So, finally, I don't, Saturn, let's go with Saturn and Leo. Do Saturn and Aries soon. Saturn and Leo, this is a very fascinating placement. Very much like Saturn and Cancer, I find that there is a strong karmic connection with the parents, in particular the dad. Whereas Saturn and Cancer usually, I found, is some kind of challenge, usually definitely a strong link between the person who has this and their mother. This person has a strong link with their father, and it's not the easiest, to be sure. Saturn is a tough planet. It just like in its composition, it's very much organized around pressure. It's all about getting it right, if you will. If you look at Saturn, its rings, I believe the word is concentric. I'm not quite sure, but it's very orderly. It's very, there's pressure, there's structure. And if you look at the nature of Saturn itself, it's an oblong shape. So it has so much pressure on the top and the bottom, it actually like bulges out. That's hence why also Saturn returns are said to be so very difficult, and in fact the most difficult out of all the returns, because there's so much damn pressure being put on us when that happens. But of course Saturn isn't only present during Saturn returns, it's present all the time, and it's always making aspects, and sometimes it's not the easiest. When you have Saturn in Cancer, Aries, or in Leo, especially Cancer and Leo, I find, my friend, karma is not easy in this life, especially in relation to your father, and there's a lot of challenges there. It's really important to recognize that your father is a person too. That they went through, they're a soul too. They went through their own challenges. They had their own learning experiences. And they didn't mean to take out all of that rage, all of that fear, all of that pain out on you. They didn't mean to try and change you. Of course, some consciously do go after that, but ultimately, that's not what they wanted. It was out of fear that they were acting. It was out of pain. And so it's really important to really face the relationship with the Father, I find, with this energy. And to not subscribe to his bullshit ideals of what you should be. Of what life should be. What's good, what's bad. Don't listen to those things. I find with Saturn and Leo, there's a huge challenge, a huge obstacle. And this is where Saturn, again, comes in, and it's lower, not lower forms, but in the first part of life, because Saturn needs time to develop. The Saturnian energy that we all have it in some region of space in relation to Earth, we all have it in some house. That shows us where our greatest challenges are. It shows us where our greatest growing is going to happen in this life. And that's the beautiful thing, is those with this energy truly can become absolutely, they can embrace the Father within them. They can embrace the Son within them. That takes a lot of time, though. A lot of stability, a lot of hard work and patience. And it's not easy. It's not an easy road along the way. But if you face your karmic relationship with your dad, or maybe it was your stepfather, your grandpa, who knows, something like that. This has just been my experience. Just like with Saturn and Cancer, I really urge you to let me know if you have a relationship that wasn't quite so negative with your father. I'd love to hear other perspectives. That's just been my experience to this point so far, that those with Saturn and Leo have a lot of challenges with their fathers, and it's a big theme. So, but I would love to know if you have contrary experience or different experience, or if you have a similar experience to that of which I'm describing. Saturn, like I said, needs time. It needs discipline. It needs hard work. It needs effort put in for its energies to pay off. And later on in life, those who have Saturn and Leo, you might find when young, they're so serious. They're so very serious. They are almost loath to be creative, to be the typical Leo energy, to be powerful and say what they think, and to live creatively, to dare to create. to have fun, to just be fun and be playful. That is a big challenge for those with this energy, I find, especially when younger. But as you get older, no matter where your Saturn placement is, things get easier. And like I always say, there's no such thing as a bad energy. There are definitely energies that are a bit more challenging than others. But this is a beautiful thing. And like I said before, it's not easy, the karmic path you've chosen with Saturn and Leo. But you're cleaning it up. And that's the cool thing with karma, is it's just all, karma isn't some magical, mystical force. It's cause and effect. It's the nature, the law, if you will, of our universe. Do this, that happens. Do this, that happens. Good things happen. Bad things happen. It's simply cause and effect. It's not some magical thing. You know, not that magical things are bad. Those are awesome. Magic is awesome. But karma is a very logical, rational force. It makes sense. Even if, the effect takes a while or is rather complicated when it emerges. But it can be seen, for sure. So, what does this mean? Saturn and Leo, once you've lived through that karma with your childhood, especially with your father, you don't have to do it again. That's cleaned up. It's done. But it's really important to keep getting that cause and effects moving for you in a very good, positive way. To embrace what you've learned and to never slip back into psychological habits. Those with this energy, I find, can be so wonderfully progressive and evolving and moving forward and all these beautiful things despite their challenging relationship with their dad and whatnot. And then a transit comes and totally spins it all out into fucking chaos, and that person becomes dogmatic. All the negative things associated with Leo and Saturn, which is dogmatism, strict regulation simply for the sake of control, the need to dominate other people. It's just not a pretty sight. And you'll find if you engage into that temptation of chaos with this energy, that you'll end up being like your dad. You're going to act like that. And dangerously, if you keep going down that negative way, his behaviors will become yours, and nobody wants that to happen. That's not a positive thing. Rather, his negative behaviors will become yours. Again, he loves you. It's not a question of that. It's not a question of trying to earn his love. It's not a question of trying to deserve it and to earn and deserve your own love. You got to get past all that stuff. That stuff is crucial to face, to recognize and move past. Find the eternal Father within, the eternal Sun. The Sun is moving all the time. It's really crucial to embrace your own power and to diminish that of your father's in yourself. There's positive impact and there's negative impact. And when negative impact happens, we need to do our best to turn it into a positive, to at least face it and neutralize that negativity. And then, of course, the next step is sublimate it, to put it into creativity, to put it into something that really uplifts you. The beautiful thing is Saturn, through its challenges, tests us. It makes us move forward as people, as souls. And as time goes on, Saturn works with us. Life for Saturnian individuals gets easier. Capricorn and Aquarius just gets easier wherever it is in your chart. And we all have it somewhere in our chart. It gets easier. And we also all have Saturn in some sign. And that region of life that was so restricted, so challenged before, thrives later on because the hard work's been put in. It's been developed. A very famous musician I know, one of my favorite musicians actually, has Saturn in Leo, and he's a very serious, very sober person. I would say the name, but I'd rather keep it anonymous. Very serious, sober person, and yet when he's playing, it's fucking phenomenal. He's ridiculously, beautifully talented at the bass, and it just goes to show with time and effort, you can get through those challenging, super serious, no play attitudes, and you can channel that energy into developing, ironically, your playful side, your creative side, your sensitive Leo side. Those with this energy all too often try and limit their emotions. They try and limit their heart, saying some bullshit thing of, I don't know, life's not fair, or something like that, some blanket statement of negativity, essentially. And not even so much negativity, but as a justification for not helping, for not caring. Oh man, those with Saturn and Leo have got to learn how to care openly. We all care, of course. We all have that inside, but not none of us. Some of us don't show that. Some of us are so. No, no. I'm not meant to smile. I'm not meant to laugh because I was scolded for laughing when I was younger. You need to let that stuff go. It's crucial for your happiness that you let that go, and you allow yourself to then focus all of that serious Saturnian focus and discipline and energy on something uplifting, like yourself, like developing yourself. Those with this energy, with enough time, not only become amazingly consummate people, but also performers, musicians, artists, leaders in general. You use those early obstacles to help propel you forward into whatever interests you, whatever makes you shine. So those with this energy, making this video just had a Saturn return pretty recently. Well, no, let's not talk about that. There's other stuff to talk about. Well, a little tidbit on that. Basically, at the making of this video, it's Saturn in Saturn in Scorpio, and so it's square where you just came from. So you just went through these big challenging this big challenging transit, and this is now the first fourth of the next cycle. So embrace it, embrace it. You won't have another Saturn return for quite a while, and. Alright, what else is there to talk about this energy? I'm missing something. Well, I guess that's all I have for now. I'm sure I'll add on to this. Oh, yes, I just thought of a very famous example of Saturn and Leo and all of what it can accomplish. Beethoven. Hello, that's what. All right, there. That's what we were meant to talk about. Beethoven has Saturn and Leo at the midheaven in the ninth house, right off the cusp of the 10th house. And dear God, if that does not exemplify the challenging father-son relationship. His father, Johann, was a drunk, frequently beat him to play better, gave him all of this ridiculous pressure to be perfect, ridiculous pressure to be creative, against his will, which is an interesting, ironic twist of this energy. And for his entire life, weighed on him, weighed on his very being, which is very Leo, but also his creativity, pushing him to excess in a lot of ways, in very unhealthy ways, pushing him to anger. He's a very easily angered person sometimes, no doubt when there is some kind of Saturnian transit going on. And there's a lot of pain, a lot of anger between him and his father, rather, but yeah. And it's curious to note that his father was very jealous of his ability. That's where, in part, I mean, yes, he was a drunk, and of course that's where it came from in part as well. But it's important to realize and to note with Saturn and Leo that his father was threatened by him. And I do find that to be a trend in these energies, is that those with Saturn and Leo are very much, they have fathers who are very much threatened by them, and so try and limit them. That's why the challenges from this come about. And I think karmically it has to do with, in previous lives, when somebody has Saturn and Leo, that their father was killed by them. You know, there's some kind of negative interaction in the past, and now that the father has the power, because being a father or mother is all, it's a huge amount of responsibility and power in helping shape your child and pushing them in the right direction. You can't control them, which is what those with Saturn and Leo's fathers try to do very often, to ridiculous degrees. But it is a huge responsibility. And when one of those parents is karmically linked to a child in a very negative fashion and is threatened by that child and can't quite consciously explain why, it can get very maddening, and they can turn all of their aggression and anger out on the child without even really consciously understanding what's going on. They can just go into fits of rage and totally scar the child in a lot of ways. But the beautiful thing is this, and the beautiful thing in Beethoven, a very wonderful example, is with time, with hard work and effort and persistence, that Saturn and Leo energy turn into incredible creativity. Incredible creativity. I mean, one of the most luminous, creative lives that there have been on this planet. And I find that very inspiring, very helpful for those with this energy. Because if he could get through it, through all the challenges that he had in his life, then you can get through it. He was just a man. All too human. So I really urge you to give yourself time, to give yourself patience. Face yourself, face your relationship with your father, and heal those wounds. Sublimate that negative energy into positive energy. Change the hate to love. Because otherwise, you're just poisoning yourself. Hate and envy and greed and all these other negative emotions. Holding grudges. It's killing yourself. It's tearing yourself apart. So I really urge you to consciously, subconsciously, all conscious levels, explore your relationship with your father and what it meant karmically, what it means for you now as a person. Don't just look into past lives, but I do recommend that for this, because you'll understand that the bonds that hold you, they'll make more sense. But also understand how those challenges made you stronger in this life, how they enabled you to rise above. And, you know, in the case of Beethoven, although it was frustrating as all hell to be woken up in the middle of the night by a drunken father and his friend to play music, crying in the meantime, that kind of forced creativity, forced whatever it is, but especially forced creativity for Saturn and Leo, does have its positives. It does help. So don't just get caught up in the negatives and say, oh yeah, fuck my dad, he's this and he's that. No, that's not what we're meant to be doing here. This energy, out of all the Saturn energies, is the most karmically linked to the father in a very challenging way. But there are positives there too. Find those positives. If your dad's still alive, work with him. Do your best to help him unearth his pain. You have to have pain to give pain. So it's not like this magically materializes out of nowhere. It's not like you deserve this. Of course not. Nobody deserves hatred and anger and pain and rage, especially from a parent. That's just so blindly negative and destructive. So look for the sources. Look for the causes in your father's childhood. That'll rid you a lot of pain, because through understanding you can change that negativity into positivity. You just have to get your mind around it, you know? Take your time. And look at dreams, too, for subconscious clues as to why is there such a challenging relationship between me and this man? What's going on? And what does this mean for me? How do I get past those obstacles? A big thing really is time and patience. You just gotta keep working hard in your own life, moving forward in positive ways, and you will reach the beautiful, 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 positive parts of this energy. And don't be so serious. Allow your creative, playful side to come out. Everybody needs to see it. Most of all, you. Namaste.